Hello. Hey guys, this is Comic Ken, and let me make sure my mic is actually working because I just got in and I'm just making sure everything is working. All right. Okay, there we go. I can hear myself now. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to the show. And yeah, today I'll just be continuing on a piece of art that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And we'll just go from there. But glad to have you guys on the stream. Let me say hi to Massive Panda. I know I saw his comment here. Awesome. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show and saying what's up, man. Uh Nothing much is going on. Let me set that up. And then I'm gonna go over to comments, manage, style, layout. Uh oh yeah, media assets. Okay, yeah, give me 1 second, y'all. I just need to get started. Lo-fi. Get the tunes going and put that at like 25 or so. And we should be good. Make sure my phone is good here. And then I need to slide this over. There we go. Awesome. Now I'm going to put my get my iPad set up here. And we'll be good to go. Yeah, so I've been talking a lot about like manga contests and their viability throughout the week and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not really sure what brought it on. Actually, yeah, I did a video about this already like a week ago, but it was just on my phone taking up space. So I was like, all right, I need to get it out of there and post it online. So that was the main reason for me making that video. But give me 1 second. I need to grab an extension thing. Give me 1 sec, y'all. That thing should be nearby, but I just don't see it at the moment. Sorry about that, y'all. I just don't see that connection. Let me just start the show and see what's up with the comments. Let me say what's up to Paul P. How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. Let me say what's up to Ictus. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? He said, I know Christmas is in July, but Halloween wallpaper? Oh, yeah. I always have that on just because of the vibe of Saintly. So that's why I keep the Halloween stuff up there. Let me move this to the side here. And let me say what's up to Silence Draws. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show. Let's see. Yakuza is going to come after that video drop. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been going after the manga industry like, no, for like the last couple of videos. Oh, yeah, appreciate it, man. I got this a long time ago when I was out in San Marcos back in those days. But yeah, I need this piece to connect my computer, and it is nowhere nearby to be seen. I need to connect my iPad, but I don't see that thing that I need. It's like a dongle basically, and it'll just connect my iPad to my computer so that it'll display whatever was going on the iPad. It should be around here somewhere. Like, it's literally close by, but for the time being, I'll show some pages from my from chapter 3 of my latest story for Saintly. So I've been working on it all week, and I finally got into a nice resting spot. Well, at least a day where I could take a break, where I've done basically all the character work for the shots. So like, I've drawn all the characters in terms of like inking them. So I've inked in all the characters, and now I just have to draw in the backgrounds, and that I think will be a lot easier because I don't have to be as precise on the backgrounds. But the characters, like, I have to be more exact on their faces and drawing them well so that they're not like just weird or off-putting. So, and then characters have hands, so I have to do that almost as a separate thing, and draw their hands really well. So I got a page like this, and I'm debating on whether to put lines on this character's like outfit, like whether to put lines that go through his shirt as an extra like little design element for his shirt. But yeah, this is the page I was working on last night. That was the last page that I had to do, and I got video of me working on that one, so that I'll be posting pretty soon. So let me see what else. Let me see some other like good pages. Most of these or some of these you've seen me working on in the videos that I've been posting. So there's like this page with the big old tiggles and just like just hanging around. And yeah, that was page 15. And let me see. Let me say what's up to. Let's see. Paul P says just been working some. Okay, nice. Say what's up to Nick Stream. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. Masonimus. I think I've seen you before, or seen your art before. Says, yo, I was recommended to watch your stream by a follower of mine. What's good? Hey, what's up? Appreciate you coming out to the show. I feel like I've seen your name before. I know I've seen your name before, but yeah, appreciate you coming out to the show and just hanging out with us. I'm just showing off pages from my comic stuff. Ikta says beautiful character work. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Character design work. Um, have them wear crab claws for the next issue to have a fast turnaround time. Yeah, for real. Like that would make things a lot easier. Just making all the characters wear just gloves or some easy thing to draw and draw quickly and get the work done faster. So yeah, I'm trying to draw as fast as I can while also making the art interesting to read. So this was probably the most in-depth character work that I've done on the pages so far, and I really try to make sure to nail the expressions in this case so that one, it doesn't come off weird, and two, it like makes sense for the story. With comics, you have to be more aware of the intensity, or at least with cartooning, you have to be more aware of the intensity of the expressions that you're using for the characters, so that it matches the scene and isn't like overdone or overblown. For me, like character acting is probably it's not the hardest thing I have to do, but it's the one thing that I pay attention the most to while drawing, so that it comes out right. Like that's the thing I want to be correct out of anything else. I want the characters to act in the way that the story needs, so that it's not so that it's just right, not like overdone. So let me go ahead and find this dongle piece so that I can connect the iPad in, and we'll get to drawing. I know it's right around here. It's just like one of those things is like right in front of you, but you can't quite see it. But it should be. Let me see if it's under here. Nope, it's not under that. Let me see. What about behind me? No, it's not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. I don't see it on my desk. So it's not in front. But it could be up here. I don't see it there either. Might be back here. Feel like I'm feeling something close by. No, that's not quite it. Give me 1 second. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me answer this question here. Misonimus says, what are the key aspects you look for in good character acting? The key aspects for me is like, one, it has to be appropriate to the situation. Like it has to be appropriate to the situation, where the emotion can't be too intense for the words that are being said, and they can't be too muted. Like for character acting, it's a subtle art, but it's the key aspects for it for me are like how they say that body language is like 90% of human communication. So like body language is 90% of human communication. And for me, having the pose correct is the primary thing, or having the silhouette be correct is like the primary thing in drawing a character. And so with this silhouette, you can kind of tell like what she's doing or what she just did with the pose that she's done, like, or the pose that she's doing. If you look at her face, you won't be able to tell what the rest of her body is doing. So if I cover her body and you just look at her face, you can see kind of like a minorly self-satisfied look on her face that is also kind of alert, but it's not really telling you what the rest of her body is doing. It's not really telling you much about the story. But if I take her, let's say I take her face out of the equation and show the rest of her body, you get 90%. You get more information about what the character is doing, or what their what their intentions are with their body position. And then the other 10% is with their face, or let's say the other 8% is with her face, and then the last 2% are with the dialogue. And so with drawing, you want to be able to tell as much as you possibly can with the art first. So like that girl in this pose is going to be different from her in this pose. Like you can tell that she's angry, or you can tell that she's feeling a different emotion than she was in the previous page. And that's just based on her eyes and her pupils, her face, like the position of her hands, her arms. The silhouette has to be the strongest thing that you're showing off first, and then the facial expression is the next most important thing. And finally, it's the dialogue. The dialogue is like the least important part of making a character act. Like, people try to put everything on dialogue, but it's like the least important thing. You want to make sure you can tell it through images alone, and that starts with silhouette. So let's say key aspect number 1 is silhouette. Then you want to make sure the hands are like clearly visible away from the body. So silhouette or body language, then facial expression, and finally it's the dialogue. So like facial expression is almost like putting the point on an exclamation point, like, or the punctuation at the end of a sentence. That kind of gives you what the vibe is of the emotion. And you can even break it down further by eyes. Like, eyes is like the identity of the character. There's a reason why in like in shows where they're trying to hide a person's identity, they remove the eyes away from sight. It's like, okay, if we take the eyes out, we can't see what that person, we can't see that person's identity. So eyes is like the next most important part of the emotional or facial expression. So if we break it down from body to being like 90%, then facial expression to being the remaining like 8%, then eyes would be like, let's say 6%, and then mouth, and like maybe it's eyebrows and then mouth. So like you can tell a lot from just the eyes, and then you can tell even more from the eyebrows, and then you can tell more from the face, like from the mouth. So like eyes are the most important, and then mouth is like, because you can have somebody smiling and their eyes are like not smiling. So you can have them like, or you can have them like see the crease in my eyes, like that. That's how you know it's a genuine smile, because there's a little crease in there. But if it's like a smile with no eyes, then that's a different thing. But let me say what's up to G4. I'm not even gonna attempt the rest of that, but what's up? Appreciate you coming out to the show. I'm just talking about like Mason had a really good question about aspects to look for in character acting and whatnot. So I was just answering that. Ikta says, what resources do you look into for character acting to execute it on the page? At this point, I don't really look into a lot of stuff these days. Like, I'll just draw it as I see it in my head. Because I've had so much practice over the years that I know for the most part, if there's some technical things that I need to look at for the pose, like the position of the hands or the arms, then I'll look that up. But for the most part, I know what I want my character to be expressing in the moment. So I'll just draw that on the page. And the places where I learn the most from about character acting, I have the exact book right here. Let me pull it up. Oh, here it is. I'll give you a book that I've read most of, and then I'll give you a book that I haven't read that much of, but would also be a good example. And then what else? I'll show you even like the best examples that I've seen for character acting in general that I've learned from just by observing and reading their work. So this is like one of the best books that you can use to. It's called Character Mentor by Tom Bancroft, and this is one of the best books you can use to figure out how to make the characters act and pose them well in a way that that shows their character, but also is very clear. Because the most important thing in like storytelling or in comics is to make the acting very clear. Like that's the most important thing above anything else. It's very obvious in most manga when you're reading it how clear the character posing is when you're reading it. It has to be very clear. Like it has to be so clear that you can squint and you can tell what the character is doing. So if you squint here, you can tell that Kakashi from Naruto, that's what this is sitting. And his pose is very relaxed. So if you squint, you can tell what the pose is. Let me see what else. Like when they start the bell test, you can tell Naruto's pose. Not here. You can tell Naruto's pose is an action pose because of the way his arm is posed and the way his legs are posed. They're spread apart. So you can tell that it's action that's happening. So that's just a quick example, but this is the main book that I use to learn how to pose and place my characters. Then the main thing that taught me about like the intensity of expressions and how to make them feel like real people and humans was the expression chapter in Making Comics by Scott McCloud, where he goes over like the basic human emotions. There's only 6 of them. And so once you can like break it down to what are the basic building blocks of every emotion or every expression, once you know like the basics, you can be like, oh cool, all I need to do is variations on these basic elements. And he shows you all the basic elements, all the expressions here. And I'm like, oh, so I can use this as a treasure trove. And I literally just drew every single expression in that on that page to make sure that I understood like how's the mouth positioned, how are the eyes positioned, what kind of emotion is it expressing, and that kind of thing. So that was the second book that helped me the most with character acting. And then this one is, I haven't read through all of it, but this is another great book for that thing because Will Eisner is a master at expressive anatomy and all that kind of stuff. Like this is literally the search term that I would use to look up like, okay, how do I make my characters feel more alive? So expressive anatomy for comics and narrative, like it's perfect for that type of stuff. So But I haven't read it all, so I don't really like 100% know. I just know that that is what I look for. So, uh, manga that's great for action, expressive, like you know, poses and all that kind of stuff is Dragon Ball for sure. That's a strong one. But the ones that I look at that nobody really talks about are Empowered. Empowered is like, it's dang near a fetish comic, but the story is just so good. Like, he's such a good writer in conveying emotions and narrative and plot that it's actually better than a lot of manga and anime coming out these days. Like, I feel so much emotion just like reading their stories of even minor characters through this book, and he's just able to, and I gotta find a place where it's not crazy, but he's just able to convey a lot of emotion in the posing or in the characters' faces. Like, he's a guy who's taken the anime style and evolved it for his own purpose. So he's like a genius at what he's doing there. And then the last one I'll show you is Love and Rockets by the way Jaime Hernandez draws his characters is as if they're real people with real lives and they're existing in their own world. It's kind of like magic every time I open up this book, where if I open it and start reading, I'll get lost in it for like 10-20 minutes just looking through the characters' lives and all that kind of stuff, trying to figure out like, oh, what's going on here, even though I know what's going on. But every time I start flipping through it again, it's like, these people are alive. They're people. He's drawing people, and it doesn't feel like they're cartoons. It doesn't feel like they're characters. It feels like they're living, breathing human beings. So that's he's like a master, another master at that. And those are the two main guys that I've studied from. Another great guy for that is Tony Moore. He does a manga, or he does a comic. Well, it is in black and white, but he does a comic called Strangers in Paradise, and he's also great for that. But yeah, that was a long way to answer that question, but hope you got a lot out of it. Let me see. Let's see. Master Panda says, I agree, Ken. Great paneling and gesturing beats a wall of text any day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Masonimus says, reminds me of the mangaka of Naruto. After the anime was released, he took a lot of notes from the animation and translated the most readable visual elements onto the page. After the anime was released, he took a lot of notes from the animation and translated the most readable visual elements onto the page. That's actually a really, really good way to explain how different his manga looks after the anime had been running for a while, where Shippuden just looks cleaner overall in his style. Like it just looks cleaner overall, the way he's rendering it and drawing it. Like, he's finally figured out like how his style should look. And I like seeing that effect with a lot of manga artists, where after their anime comes out, they're like, oh, you know what? They actually did that. They actually cooked on that. They did that better than I did. So I'm going to take stuff from the anime, and then the anime, it just becomes like a feedback loop between the two. So it's really cool how that works. John, what's up? JOM, appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. We're just talking about comics and cartoons and all that stuff. Masonima says, what works of art do you think exemplifies character animation well? Character animation. There's one that's coming to mind, like deep inside, where I'm just like the comics that I just showed you. Show off like really good character character acting, like on the page, like in still frames and whatnot. But in terms of character animation, the first thing that comes to mind is I would say Koji Morimoto is a really good character animation or a really good character animator from Japan. He's lesser known, but he has like really interesting stuff and a really interesting coloring style. Um, I would look at the whole catalog of amazing. There's this animation called Amazing Nuts. Oh, he said, "What works do you think exemplify character acting?" Okay, yeah, yeah. Those those books I just showed you. So that would be those comics. So if it's not character animation, we won't have to jump into all that. But yeah, no problem. Paul P says the only thing I have trouble with is facial expressions on my characters. Facial expressions. Yeah. Yeah. If you look through Scott McCloud's book, that'll help you with all of that stuff. And in fact, he's getting these facial expressions from a different book that he references in this comic, where he says that he learned all that information that he's putting here from Gary Fagan's book on facial expressions. So he's getting it from a different book and then just cartoonizing it in here. And I got that other book just because he recommended it in making comics. So yeah, those will help you with figuring out how facial expressions work and giving you a solid fundamental basis from which to build up your skills out there. Dale Dale A, what's up, Dale A? Says a lot of fetish comics out there. Oh yeah, there are plenty to choose from. Massive Panda says two other great books to read by Will Eisner, comics and sequential art. Yep, got that one. And graphics, storytelling, and visual narrative. Eisner was truly a master of masters. You can't put a price on his knowledge. Yep, 100%. Massive Panda says, I had a chance to get my hands on some old Love and Rockets comics for a decent price at a used bookstore years ago, but I was penny pinching like a mofo. I regret not spending the money. Oh yeah, I would have spent all that. Even if I had to stop eating for a while, I probably would have spent that. Strangers in Paradise is just breathtaking art, real talk. Terry Moore really captured beautiful still moments on the page. Yeah, he's really great at capturing expressions, emotions, all that stuff. And he's on YouTube, so you can see him draw. Paul P says, any ideas where I can get those books? I got these all from Amazon. So, well, actually, the Dragon Ball I got at a half-price bookstore. But all the other books I got on Amazon. So when I was younger, I would kind of split my money to where I would save 10%. I would hold back 10% for education. And so, but for me, it was personally like a treat. So anytime I had like that extra 10% like dollars on me, I would just buy or 10% of my paycheck, I would buy all these books on Amazon. So yeah, you can 100% find them on Amazon. I would just take 10% of my paycheck and then I would be like, all right, I can afford to get this one, and this one, because art books are pretty expensive, especially if they're out of print or if they don't have too many copies of them left. So some can be like $20, $28, $30, but for the most part, because I budgeted for them, I was able to get a lot of them. So yeah, that's how I got my hands on those. And let me see if I can try to find that piece one more time so that I can start drawing on my iPad and you guys can see what I'm cooking up here. Give me one sec. Wow, it's really gone. Um, yeah, I can't find it. So I think what I'll do in this case is I'll put the camera on my drawing board. Let me check one more possible spot. And then I'll put the camera on my drawing board and I'll just ink the backgrounds on my pages. Because that is the work I need to be doing. But yeah, it's weird. I thought I would have that that piece. It's usually around here somewhere. All right. Let me pick a page to draw, or see which page is just needs some extra, what do you call it, stuff. Let me see what's up. See what's up with the comments. JOM says there are a lot of resources available for your consideration. Theory, it is how you apply what you have learned that makes the difference. Yep, 100%. Master Panda says, yeah, my wife bought me the rest of the Miyazaki movie art books that I didn't have in my collection for my last birthday. Oh, nice. I know that ish wasn't cheap, but my collection is on point now. Oh yeah, 100%. Let's see. Let me say what's up to El May. Appreciate you coming out to the show. What is up? Let me see. Mason says, Ken, before I forget, I stream myself working on my comics a couple times a week. Would you like to be a guest at some point? Yeah, I think so. Just depends on the day, and but we should be able to set that up. I don't know if you have what do you call it? Instagram or email, but we can set that up more off stream. But yeah, I'd be interested. Joseph Lopez says, hey, what's up? Appreciate you coming out to the show. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set my camera up here. Let me make one more try at finding this thing. There was, well, I'm not going to go around the room again, but I'm going to see if it's under this stack here. This stack of stuff. And it isn't. But let me see. Okay, it's not there. So I'm going to put this over here. And I swear to God, like, when I get off stream, I'll find it laying in the most obvious place. And that'll annoy me. And then I'll explode. Off stream, of course. But but here we go. Let me say what's up to Popping Rico. How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. Okay. So let me set this up real quick. I have my tripod around here. Let me pull it up. One sec. Oh, sick. I found it. Never mind. Fuck all that stuff that I was going to do before. We're going to use my iPad. Oh, man. It's so much harder to set up the actual, what do you call it? What is it? Set up my camera to look at my board. And then to draw with it is so much harder because it's like, yeah, I can't, it's hard to maneuver around. So anytime you see me doing like a video where I draw my comic or ink my comic, I'm doing it at the most awkward angle imaginable. And you won't know because you can't see me doing it, but I have my my tripod in front of me. And then I'm inking around my tripod and trying to find a good angle to where you can see what I'm inking on the camera and making sure that it's always in the frame and never at an awkward angle where it's like in the shadow or whatnot. In fact, I should have my light on the other side so that it's looking at what I'm drawing and you can see it a lot better. But it's a work in progress, you know. If I was like in a better, or if I just arrange things better, it would be like a more solid viewing experience. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see what I'm working on, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the illustration I've been doing. So let me. Yosef Lopez says, "I like the lavender lights." Oh, appreciate it, man. I usually do that for basically saintly purposes. So let me present screen, share screen, share, enter entire screen. Let me see. Should be kicking in just a moment here. And I was gonna say, like, it says it can't access my screen. That's crazy. Let me see. Browser can't access screen. Let me try it one more time. Share screen. Entire screen. Share. Let's see. Okay. Should be kicking in right about now. I was gonna say that actually forgot. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. No, I remembered. There we go. Y'all should be able to see it now. And then I should be able to move this and you guys can see it. Awesome. Finally. All right. There we go. So we found the piece I was looking for. And now we are on to basically the next step of this piece. So I got to figure out this water line. Like, where does the water go up and where does it cut off? But what I was thinking about before was the talks that I was doing earlier, or like the last couple of videos that I was doing about like manga contests and that kind of stuff. We did a stream like a long time back where we were talking about artists and comic creators. I still got to do that video who were able to make a living off of their, like, not even just a living, but they were able to make really decent money off of the comics that they were making, and they're not even they wouldn't even be considered manga quality or like anime quality, and they're getting paid more than most comic creators in America and many aspiring manga artists in Japan. A lot of manga artists in Japan go into debt trying to pay their staff, their assistants on the series that they're working on, if their series doesn't last a long time or if it ends quickly. But this creator that we talked about before, I forgot his name, but I have the comic like bookmarked. Okay, you guys can see what I'm doing. Good. I have the comic bookmarked, but he is able to make like several thousand a month doing his comics that, like, they're pretty rough quality. Like, they're not the greatest looking thing in the world, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter what I think or what anyone else thinks, except for the fans that he's cultivated over the years. I think his manga or his and he's a webcomic creator, and you can make bank off of webcomics if you know your audience and you know how to cater to them. That's really all that matters. If you know your audience and know how to cater to them. With Shonen Jump or with manga artists or manga companies in general, they have an audience that they've built over decades, and they have thousands to they have millions of points of what's the word, data points on their target audience, and they know what they would potentially like. They know what to green light. They just have a good idea of what that audience likes and wants to see. So they're able to make stuff out of the box that caters to that audience. Whereas if you have your own style and you have your own art, you gotta kind of figure out who's that audience for you over time. Like it's not just in a box with Shonen Jump, and that's the issue with signing up for those contests and whatnot. If you draw in a different style, or if you like if your work doesn't cater to that audience, then it's not gonna get greenlit for a serialization. Or if your work is not what they're looking for at the time, like let's say you make a demon comic, which is literally what my thing is. They already have Demon Slayer and they already have JJK. So if I were to make another well, let's say Demon Slayer and JJK, you got those, and you got Chainsaw Man all going at the same time. If I came up with a demon comic like Saintly and was trying to get published with them at the same time all those are running, they'd be like, yeah, we kind of already got that covered. So maybe when one of them gets out of the one of them like ends, you can have a place, but until then we'll pass. And then I just have to go to different magazines that are looking for a demon comic or something like that, if I want to get published. You know what I mean? So, you know what? Her hair would be more... What does wet curly hair look like? That's the thing. Because this doesn't look too much different from her normal hair. And it should be more matted down. But let me check out the comments and see what's up. Jesus Christ. Next stream says, I'd recommend getting a metal phone arm holder, way better than a tripod for desk recording. Yeah, I have something like that, but I just don't know where to place it. Still figuring that out. But yeah. JOM says work from the vanishing point. Oh yeah, for the piece. From that perspective, they would be touching sand, and water is a little further ahead. They're touching water. The girls would be reacting to touching water. Spooderman 0 or Spooderman O. How do you practice 3D forms and... Oh, wait. How do you practice 3D forms, and should you practice them from imagination or reference? Practicing 3D forms is something you do from both. You do both imagination and reference. So you want to... Doing it from imagination is you use perspective and you figure out the vanishing point and the horizon line, and then you draw the points that are coming from the vanishing point and figure out the basic shapes in perspective. So this is what a square would look like in perspective. This is what a cube would look like in perspective, because they're going along the vanishing point. And you figure out those basic shapes in perspective. That's how you do it from imagination. And then 3D objects in real life is like you look around your room, you look around your desk, and just draw what you see. It usually helps to close one eye and draw what you're looking at. And that way you're not just going off of basic shapes that you see in your mind. You're going off of what do things actually look like? How are things actually shaped? How does the light actually touch them? And that's how you get good at drawing 3D forms. And then going to figure drawing classes so that you see what those forms look like in person. And also drawing figures from photos will help you figure out how characters should look in 3 dimensions. So those are the types of things that help you develop a mental or visual library inside your head that you can use to draw things from imagination or draw things off the cuff and be able to draw faster, especially for comics and that kind of thing. Wet hair would reflect the light more. Yep, 100%. Massive Panda says, I personally feel like Saintly looks like straight fire at first glance. Appreciate it, man. Somebody high up is going to see this IP floating around the internet and get interested in snatching it up. Just my opinion. I hope so. That would be really cool. Yeah, it's one of those things that over time I'll be developing it more and more. And right now I'm just using this opportunity to like draw all chapters that I'm going to be drawing for this graphic novel, and just drawing as fast as I possibly can. Like there's no way to slow down really. But yeah, Matt Mixon says, gotta get going. Super informative stream. Keep it up, Ken. Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it. Also sent you a DM and followed you on IG. Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Looking forward to connecting, man. JOM says, life models helps a lot. You can see how light reflects in real time while casting shadows, shading in real time. Yep, 100%. Dang, did I just see 19 people we have here on stream? That's really nice. I think the most that's the most that I've seen so far, so that's really cool. Let me see. Yeah, Vivi's hair when it's dry is usually so like there's so many curls that it doesn't have any light reflection in it, and we probably wouldn't see these like up curls in her hair, so it's not gonna have these things kind of poofing out. And we want to keep a good track of where her actual skull / scalp is, so that we have a good idea of where her hair is coming out from. So maybe we'd have 1 or 2 curls that would kind of come out in an interesting way, but most of them are not coming out like that. So her hair is going to be mostly down and sticking pretty close to her scalp. Yeah, it's already starting to look a little bit more like wet. Just a little bit more like it's damp or like tamped down. And I'm still just kind of guessing right now, but that's because her drawing is not 100% my priority at the moment. So she's wearing her goggles around her neck, and Chelsea's wearing hers around her head. So I have to fix this hand here because that's not right. It just ain't right. And let me see. I hit save before I get cooked. And check out Nick Stream says, have you read Do a Power Bomb? No, I haven't. I know it's by, what's that guy's name? Daniel Warren Johnson, but I haven't read Do a Powerbomb. What have I read? I read the first issue of Murder Falcon and also Transformers, and he's just a really solid artist, man. Let me see. G4 says, do you have any good book / resources recommendation for color theory for comics? Yes. Yes, I do. That's where I learned I learned everything I know about color theory from DeviantArt, man. Yeah, I think I learned most of what I know about color theory from DeviantArt and YouTube tutorials. It would take there's no I have what's the book? Here, let me pull this one up. Cuz this guy has the tips that actually help me really understand color theory. Oh shit, we got 20 people in here. That's nice. Appreciate y'all all coming out to the show. And he says, "Hello, DeviantArt." Yes, DeviantArt, dude. Yes. I learned so much from DeviantArt back in those days. Man, it says LL DeviantArt. Yes. 100% DeviantArt. But yeah, the other book is this, Color and Light by what's his name? Mr. James Gurney. And he has this website called gurneyjourney.com. And if I swear, if I check back in there, if I check that site right now, it'll most likely be updated to this current day, because when I was checking it back in the day, like every time I checked it, it would be the most updated, like it would be the current day. So he is very active on that website, where you might not see him on social media. You might only see him on like YouTube and whatnot, but he's able to take imaginative spaces and turn them into real things by using color theory. So you can learn a lot just from his book. And let me show you what I learned, because okay, remove. My bad, I actually removed myself. Actually, the most important thing with color theory is learning shading and lights. So if you learn shading and light, you'll understand color theory a lot better too. Well, let me say what's up to Naruro Rateo. I think I saw you last show too. So what's up, man? Or lady? I don't know. But appreciate you coming out to the show. What was I thinking of? Yeah, so that is the resource that I have for like color theory, or that's the best resource. But I can't go into all the like deeper resources that I have right now because my computer will slow down and then the stream will just turn off. But I'm gonna check really quick to see if Gurney Journey is still going on to this day, because that was a really active site and he was just really good about posting on it. Like, he was as good about posting on there as most people are good about posting on social media every day, or like Twitter. So this is Gurney Journey. This is a post from 2008, but that was to explain like different color principle. But if I click this button right here, it should take me to the most updated video or post. Okay, Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. So even to this day, not to this day, apparently he's on Substack now. So the last post that he did is sending people over to his Substack. So let me see that really quick, because most likely it'll be updated to this current wait a minute. Oh, let me see. It'll most likely be updated to this current day, like right now. Let me just go. No thanks. Let me see. Okay, you guys can see the screen. Let's see what's up. Because he's just one of those guys who's like really consistent. Let's see. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Here we go. July 1st. Why did so many French trained artists make the pilgrimage to Madrid to study the work of a painter from 2 centuries earlier? And so, yeah, July 1st, that was yesterday. This guy is just insanely, what's the word? Consistent. And so he's been just online posting about whatever he's doing in the art world for decades now. And I'm just glad to see that he's still going. And literally, he never stopped. He just redirected over to Substack. And this is not even a like fully fledged website. This is Blogspot, what you use to post when you don't want to buy a domain. Like you can just post here for free. And he was doing that for years and years. And that's really dope. That's really dope to see. So it looks like towards the end he was doing it like monthly. But yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool to see. But yeah, he's a great color expert to learn from. Let me see what Spooderman is saying. But if there's a vanishing point while practicing 3D shapes, how can you make mistakes because the vanishing point guides your boxes? How can you make mistakes if there's a vanishing point while practicing 3D shapes? How can you make mistakes? That's basically if you don't know perspective all the way. Like that's the only way to really make mistakes with vanishing point on a piece of paper. Poppy Rico says, I remember Demon Art had a variety of tips on how to date stuff, but I think he meant to draw stuff. Master Panda says, dang, one of my buddies let me borrow a copy of Dual Powerbomb, but I still haven't read it yet. So far, my favorite Dana Warren Johnson work is that Beta Ray Bill miniseries. So good. Okay, I haven't read that one myself. I've got Color and Light too, Ken. Swear you have the exact same bookshelf. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's one of those top tier books, man. Let me see. G4 says those daily videos are paying off. Oh, I swear, man. Like it's just one of those things that I mean, like I told myself I would keep up with. I take weekends off now, but that's because I'm actually working full time in comics, so I don't have to do the every single day. But I do have a lot of video ideas that I want to draw, that I want to like actually make, because like there's stuff that I really want to talk about. But yeah. Damn, these streaming views increase. Who are you people? That's how I read it. It's just like from SpongeBob. Coloring expert, you say. I'll pull out my box of crayons. Oh yeah, you can get a lot of mileage out of crayons, to be honest though. That's all. Back when that was all I had, I was just like, okay, yeah, I can actually do a lot with these. Spooderman says, okay, thanks for the tips. Yeah, no problem, dude. Okay, let me get back here. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm doing. And she's kind of out of the frame, so I'm gonna have to do some stuff to get her back in. I'm basically just gonna have to make them both a little bit smaller. But I need to make her hand do what I'm trying to make it do. That might mean this goes somewhere else. And I like the arm, so I don't want to remove the arm. I don't want to like do something different with the arm and mess that all up. So I'm gonna put this at 170. And I don't want to shave off her scalp, so we're gonna have the hair. Should I do hair strand like this, or maybe I think I'll leave the face as it is. Like, I like how it looks clear, so I'm gonna hit the eraser a little bit here, touch it up here, and then let's see. G4 says, what are your thoughts on Absolute Batman? I heard it's getting an animation. I heard about the animation too, and I think I know the guy that you're talking about, because this guy makes like 1-minute videos, and he wears like goggles or like shades, and he wears a mask or something, and he talks about like, hey guys, look at this thing, and DC Batman is getting Absolute Batman is getting an animation, and that's so quick. I read the first chapter, and I thought it was just really fun. Like, I thought it was just like, okay, we're getting some life back into the Batman franchise, and this is fun. I read it with my buddies, and we were like, okay, this, like my writing buddies, and we're like, this doesn't have like a super solid narrative structure, but the fun or the craziness of the story outweighs having like perfect narrative. So we were like, you know what, it's good, it's fun, and I like that it's making people talk about comics again. Like, people are interested in comics because of Absolute Batman, and I really like that it's doing that. Like, it's having that effect. Like, people are talking a lot about DC again because of Absolute Batman, and that's just based on the strength of the comic itself. And it's by an industry veteran, so this guy has been around. Scott Snyder has been around for a long time. He did a lot of like the most famous Batman stories, like what was it, The Court of Owls, which is what I remember from like maybe freshman year in high school, or maybe just a year after that. But I remember Court of Owls being like, holy shit, this is crazy. Batman's like, Batman's like was going crazy in that issue. And then Greg Capullo's art on that was like driving me nuts. I was just like, yo, it's insane. But yeah, now he's doing it again with Absolute Batman, and it's just like, wow. Okay. Good stuff. Let me see. Ictus says cheesecake. You know the secret ingredient to cheese is in milk. The source every time. The secret ingredient to cheese is in milk. Oh my god. G4 says, are you a DC or a Marvel type guy, or maybe Image? That's a good question, because at a certain point in my life, I was reading a lot of Marvel comics. Yeah, I was reading a lot of Marvel comics because their stories seem more approachable, and I really liked Spider-Man at the time. I wasn't that into like Iron Man or whatever, but Spider-Man was my guy, so I was just like, yeah, I guess I'll start it. I'll start into comics, because I was really into just manga at the time, and then I got into comics through Spider-Man, and there was a comic called The Death of Spider-Man in the Ultimates universe, and I was just like, Spider-Man dies? And so I started reading from there, and eventually I got into DC comics, and I was mostly into Batman comics, and that was it. I would try the occasional Superman comic here and there, like Superman Red Sun, or the occasional Wonder Woman comic by, like, one of them was by Cliff Chang, and I just didn't feel as much of an affinity towards those as I did towards Marvel comics. So I guess you could say I was more of a Marvel person, but Yeah, I was definitely more Marvel because I was reading like Matt Fraction and David Aha's what do you call it? Hun what's that guy's name? Hawkeye. I was reading their Hawkeye and I was reading Daredevil by Mark Waid at the same time. And both of those coming out back to back, along with Superior Spider-Man at the same time, it was a wrap. I was just all into Marvel comics at that time. And that was probably like the last great age of Marvel comics, like just coming out all at once. And I was just like, man, this stuff is great. And DC, I don't remember what DC was doing at the time, but I just remember reading older DC comics or older Batman stories like The Long Halloween or Batman The Dark Knight Returns. I would just be reading into all the old DC stuff to see what that was about, or Watchmen. And that was how I was into it, and Court of Owls and that kind of stuff. But as for Image, I was just all into what do you call it? I was all up into Invincible, and I would check out Saga from here and there just to see like what all the hype was about, because everybody was on Saga's dick back in the day. Like they were just glazing like, oh, Saga's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best comic out there. Like this is amazing. Like I was just like, all right, bet. Let me see what this Saga is all about. And I was just like, these robots are having sex with each other, dude. Is this is this y'all what we're glazing right now? Like, and I liked it. I like Saga. I thought it was fun. And I was reading The Walking Dead at the same time, and I really preferred like the earlier style of The Walking Dead by Tony Moore before it changed in like the second trade. I really like the style that they had earlier, but I stuck with it for a really long time. I just don't know what happens after like at the end of the Negan arc. I just don't know because I didn't finish it. So I have to like get back into it at volume 20 or so and then just finish out the series because it eventually finished. So I got to see what the ending is like. And I would read a lot of Image comics just because it felt like I could eventually work for them. Like, okay, Image Comics is a place where you can create your own idea and get your name out there through your own stuff. But these days it's like, I don't know, is that even true? Like, are they even accepting submissions these days? I don't know. But back in high school, I was just reading anything and everything I could get my hands on, and just seeing what was up. But Marvel was my go-to for a while. Like there was Superior Foes of Spider-Man, and that was just top tier. There was like Frank Miller's Daredevil that I was reading, and I was just like, man, this is just solid stuff. But yeah, okay, you guys can see what I'm working on. I thought that was like, off screen or something. Okay, but yeah, that's what I was into like growing up. When I kind of jumped out of the manga bubble for a while, just to see like, okay, what else is there? Like I should expand my horizons and see what else is out there. So Daredevil became my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters. It would be Daredevil, Batman, and Spider-Man. I would always, read their stories. Let me see if there's any other. JOM says Batman as a billionaire doesn't work when gas is almost $8 a gallon. They made him into a regular Joe to make it relatable. Yeah. I actually had an idea like that a long time ago too, where, what if Batman was poor? How would he make it? How would he do his Batman stuff? Would he still be the same guy, or like would he have to find some creative workarounds to do that? So I had an idea for like what if Batman was poor, and it was just him like, you know, making his costume out of like scrap stuff that was lying around, and he'd be like in the back alleys and the gutter, and it would be like gritty and dirty and all that stuff. Let me see. Batman buys creatine in bulk at the bulk store. Yep. Yosef says Marvel says, if you like Halloween, don't sleep on Batman Dark Victory. It's also done by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, but it doesn't get talked about as much. I feel like I read that. But I can't know for sure because I don't remember. And if I actually read it and I don't remember it, that would be almost a worse indictment on it than anything else. It says, LOL, I'm watching another video about wrestling and all I heard was sex. Oh, jeez. G4 says the Saga glaze was crazy at one point. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. People were just like, man, this is the best thing ever. Master Panda says, yeah, I remember when Saga first started popping off, I was too broke to buy comics. Luckily, my roommate was allowing me to borrow what he was buying. I fell off with Saga though. Yeah, I couldn't afford it either. I was just checking all this stuff out from the library. I was just like, oh, sweet, I got to just check it out from the library. Nice. But yeah, whenever it was available, I would just check it out. And I fell off too, but I think it was because the people who were creating it fell off first. Like they just went on hiatus. Like they had so many hiatuses and would just be popping back in and out from throughout the years, that the fan base kind of got tired of waiting, or maybe they were just like, hey, when's the story gonna finish? And then I guess the window on the popularity of Saga just kind of, came and went, because the creators were taking massive like these really long breaks from the publishing of it, whereas something like Invincible had time to like gain traction and develop their fan base more because they were consistently releasing, and they were on time with their releases. So, and they finished the story so that it could actually turn into a major hit franchise that got a movie and all that stuff. Saga should have had some type of project or something in the works by now, but because the creators weren't as consistent with it and just went off to do other things, that it didn't materialize into this bigger thing. Maybe it's finished by now though, I don't know. JOM says the answer is you would really have to bulk up. No money, just have muscles to scare villains. Yep. Ictus says, Ken, you need to get mods. The chat is too powerful. Not yet. I mean, like, I've only had like one issue where somebody was like being really weird, like saying like just weird stuff in the chat, and I was just like, hey, banned. And it was just like the most weird out of pocket stuff. Like he seemed like a spammer or something like that, so I had to like just delete him out of it out of the chat, and then it wasn't a problem anymore. Yosef Lopez, have you ever heard of Nights into Dreams? I literally never heard of that. That sounds really cool though, but I haven't heard of it. Yeah, that era around 2010 to 2012-ish, there were a lot of big titles coming out. Saga, Superior, Spider-Man, yep. Kingsman, oh man, I haven't read that one. Government Name, Secret Service, and Joe Mad's Avenging Spider-Man. Even Joe Mad was working around that time? That's crazy. Ictus says, even more weird than me? Yes, even more weird, if you can imagine. Oh, we got 23 in here. Nice. JLM says, I haven't seen Masters of the Universe yet. I don't have the power yet. Oh, well. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to keep drawing, but I'm going to answer the chat from the drawing board rather than like going back and forth, so that it's not, you know, too drawing an experience. G4 says, what is your techniques to monetize your comic? What does this say? Oh, monetize your comic. It seems so hard in 2026. My techniques, I'm still learning right now, like my techniques, but basically what you want to have to do, or what you want to do, is set up a what they call a funnel, like a marketing funnel. So you can sell at shows, and I've made some money selling at shows. Like the last show I went to, most people were who bought Saintly were women, and I'm gonna do a email about that pretty soon. But surprisingly, it was mostly women who were buying Saintly, and I was just like, what the? But I mean, look at the cheesecake. I made this for some of the guys, you know, like, but it was mostly women that were buying Saintly at the last show I went to. The first show that I debuted at, Saintly, it was mostly women buying it. So that gives me some selling data on who is actually interested in the work that I'm creating. And even before that, I was making Air Rider, and that was even more of data on who is interested in actually paying for the work, like paying for my stuff. And let me see what the question was again, so I can make sure. And let me say what's up to Cognita RX. What's up? Appreciate you coming out to the show. We are just drawing some stuff and all that kind of stuff right now. So yeah. Well, let me remind myself of the question. What is your techniques to monetize your comic? So monetizing my comic is like the basics of it is just doing what I'm doing on YouTube and getting people interested in my what do you call it? My email list. So the technique is basically just setting up a funnel, and that means you're using social media to get attention for your project that you're working on, and then from there you are using that attention and funneling it into an email list, which is like the most important thing that you want to have as a creator, because people respond to emails, or a higher percentage of your audience will respond to emails than they will on any social media post that you do. If you have an email list, like we just saw with James Gurney's Substack, if you have an email list like that, people respond. You'll get a 36% response rate to the email versus a 1% response rate that you get on social media. And your email is where you collect people who are genuinely interested in your work, who could be potential buyers. And through your email, you're nurturing them by telling them stories, showing them finished work, or showing them works in progress, stuff that you don't show on social media. And you make them feel special by, you know, giving them stuff that they can't just get on social media like everybody else. Like you're giving them like, hey, this is what I'm working on. I haven't posted this anywhere else, and that kind of stuff. And then when you have like a Kickstarter campaign, or you have like let's say you want to open up a Patreon, instead of kind of weekly saying like, hey, my Patreon is ready on social media and all that, you have your email list there to be like, hey, my Patreon is up, it's ready to launch. Or you can say like, hey, my book is ready to go, we have a Kickstarter ready to launch. And all the people that you've collected over the years on your email list, who are engaged fans who want to support you and buy your stuff, you don't have to go out to social media and collect them again. You already have them on your email list, and all it takes is one email, and then boom, you have however many people buying your Kickstarter or your Patreon or whatever thing you're selling, because you just sent out one email. versus having to send out 1,000 posts on social media, make a ton of videos, all that stuff. It's social media is to get attention, and it's not a place where you want to do direct sales, unless it's maybe like TikTok. But I'm not 100% familiar with the TikTok ecosystem to really make that call. But going through YouTube for me works, and you want to use the social media that works for you personally, because if you are comfortable with it, you can make posts a lot easier with that way, and you don't have to like strain and struggle to find the right stuff for your thing. I think what I'll do is I will take this one out of the picture, so I'm gonna leave this water slide out. But yeah, then when you have your email list set up and all that stuff, you can just send out one email saying like, hey, I have a Kickstarter ready, I have a book that I'm selling, or I have a drop of merchandise that I want with like stickers, bookmarks, comics, zines, whatever. And then when you send out that email, people will be like, oh sweet, I can buy it. And then you those people will buy it, and you don't have to, they'll still be on the email list after they buy it, versus if they buy off of social media, you don't have any way to contact them again unless you make another post and hope that they look at your post again. So yeah, going through social media, I read a whole bunch of books like that. I have some videos on my channel about how I learned to like monetize and where I got most of this information from. But going on social media is a place where you can like tell stories about yourself, tell stories about your art, get people interested in you as a person, as an artist, and as a creative, so that when you want to like want to make like actual sales, your audience is like warmed up to you, and they're like, hey, I want to buy, you know what I mean? So that's the way to do it online. The other way is just, you know, going to shows and posting up with your work, especially going to shows where like your work would be appreciated. Like if you know that people like the kind of stuff that you produce at those shows, then it's almost like a layup to make sales over there. So you don't have to like strain and stress in that way if you're making those sales. But let me see what the other comments were. Joseph Lopez says, it's an old Sega game with a jester-like character that traverses the dreams of two kids. I need to go back and reread the storyline. Oh, he was talking about in reference to the other thing, Nights into Dreams. Okay. And then JOM says, one of the best techniques is to finish the comic. 100%. Yep. Masters of the Universe, Ichther says, is a fun movie. The jokes don't land much, and they feel like skits that make the story feel clunky. Overall, faithful to the source material. Okay, that's cool. Wow, what a fun twist of events. I remember seeing Nights into Dreams. Let me see. Sheesh. Nights into Dreams in old Archie Sonic comics. I always wanted to play it, but I didn't have a Sega Saturn. It had a neat soundtrack, I know that much. Oh, Elmay said, women like reading stories about female friendship. Oh yeah. I got a feeling about that just through reading what's it called, Nana, a long time ago, and even now, and I could see like why that was such a famous manga, to the point where 1 year it even overtook One Piece. Nana, I'm trying to see if I have a copy like next to me that I can just show, but I don't. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Nana and Love and Rockets is where Nana, Love and Rockets, and Empowered is where I get my sense of my characters like friendship from, because the friendships in those stories and also in, here we go, also in Strangers in Paradise, the sense of friendship between the females in all these stories is how I've developed my sense of just that, I guess, that emotional timing or the flow of emotions through the story that is present in Saintly, to where when I was at that show, the girls who were reading it were looking at the expressions of the characters. They were like flipping through, looking at Vivi's design, and they were just like, oh wow, she's cute, or like they were just like, I would see how they would react to the characters as they were on the page, and I was just like, I drew them hot for me, but I also made sure to make the emotions of the characters like even a pose like this, I made sure to make the emotions and the poses of the characters strong, like not emotional but expressive, to where you are able to feel what the character is feeling and follow it logically throughout the entire story. And I learned that from reading Nana and studying like, how the hell are they engaging me, like, and they're engaging me by logically explaining emotions. They're logically explaining emotions, and I love reading about their friendship as they grow up. So yeah, that's one of those stories that really, showed me how all that stuff works. And Strangers in Paradise was the other comic that really showed me like strong female friendship in comics. Whereas a lot of like mainstream comics that I was reading at the time just felt like friendship or even like relationships was just like oh, these characters flirt for like 2 pages and then they kiss, and then that's romance. And I was just like, nah, because I read about romance in Nana, and that was real. So this stuff that you're doing in this like superhero comic doesn't make any sense, and it's kind of lame. So it was night and day difference between like reading like Love and Rockets and seeing how real those people felt compared to reading a superhero comic, and they would just casually glaze over or like just gloss over the friendship in those stories, to where it was just kind of a secondary thought compared to the action that would be happening. Dale A says 25 people watching. Comic Ken, you're getting popular, a different crowd than a lot of the usual comic streams too. And that was probably at the height, and that's good that we have that what's the word, that we have that noted, because I didn't see it go to 25, but that's really good to know. Ictus says, so that means no more cheesecake. On the contrary, we will have more. Well, maybe not that much more, but you know. Okay. And Ixus says, if Ken deprives us of cheesecake and if Tyler never comes back, how are we supposed to get our fix? Oh my god. Man, I haven't seen him for a while, but yeah, I hope he comes back. I hope he's doing okay. G4 says, but if you don't have content drought because posting on, but don't you have content drought because posting on social media constantly is hard? No, it doesn't necessarily have to be hard. Because when you're posting, I'm gonna go back to the page. There we go. Oh hell no, I don't want to do that. Awesome. Because when you're posting to social media, you want to do it in a way that is easy for you. Like, always think about, okay, what's the easiest way I can do this? And what is something that's easy and sustainable? So I learned how to just speak off the cuff. And I had a podcast even before I went hard on this channel right now. I had a podcast, and that taught me how to like speak off the cuff and just get my words out there and just talk without needing a script. And I did try making a script for a really long time, like for my YouTube videos, and it was just taking so much time away from actually doing my comic that I was just like, I can't keep this up. I need to figure out another way. And that's just by not scripting my videos. Learning how to talk off the cuff and using that to your advantage. Other people have a different advantage, and that is like, maybe they know how to work the algorithm and create videos that the algorithm really likes to see. Because my videos aren't necessarily what the algorithm wants, but they're what I like to make. And doing a combination of making those long form YouTube videos, because everything I hear about shorts is that you can't really build a relationship with the audience off of shorts. Like, shorts are just like candy. Like, people look at the short and then they go on to the next thing. If you have a short that connects to something long form, like a podcast or something like that, that's a better way to do that. But I've never been big into shorts because they require a lot of like editing and hooks and all this kind of stuff that takes away time from me actually drawing. But me actually just talking on camera off the cuff, I could do 4 videos in a day and then schedule those out for the week. It's a lot easier to do it that way for me personally, because I've developed that skill and it's fun for me. So you want to do social media in a way that's fun for you, that you can do consistently, and that way you don't get tired of it. That's the long and short of it. Just do what's fun for you on social media. It should be fun, and that way you won't get tired, and you'll just keep making posts and be consistent with it, as consistent as you can keep up with. So I found out for me personally that I couldn't keep up with doing daily posts, and the quality was suffering because of that. But I'm finding that I can do 4 posts or four videos and a live stream per week. And now I found a way to make even the 4 videos quality be a little bit better than what I would usually do. So you want to find a rhythm that you can stick to for a long period of time, and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Don't worry about what like Gary Vee or Alex Hormozy is doing, because they have entire teams behind them doing tons of content for social media that they can post to 100 different places, and places that you don't even know. But if you're just solo, you do what is fun for you and what you can manage, and that's all you need to worry about on that front. And then let me just read these off. Let me see. Okay. Dale A says, I honestly thought Saintly was created for a female audience. What the hell? That is crazy because I didn't even think about that when I was making it. But having a female character as the main character would be like the number one kind of tip off for um you know of like gathering a female reader base. But then I thought about stuff like Soul Eater, where the main character Maka Albarn is a girl character, and it's a shonen, so people didn't mind. So I thought that would be the same effect going on in this case. But yeah, that's interesting that you thought that. And you know what? My sister actually told me that it was the cover itself that made her think that it was for a female audience, because it didn't like it didn't have what guys would look for on a cover of a story that they would be interested in. So when I was at that show, mostly girls bought the comic and they liked it. Whereas if I wanted to cater more to guys, I would probably do a cover that was closer to this, or maybe not even this, but maybe more of an action-packed cover or something different that would catch guys' eye more than the cover I currently have for Saintly, which gets more female readers, which is really interesting. I didn't think about it until my sister mentioned that. But yeah, it's just something I learned as I go along. Let me see. Ictus says, wow, the quality of the printing from your work looks fantastic. How many pages are in the floppy? It's 31 pages in the floppy. And yeah, I printed this out at Office Depot. So if you give them a PDF, not a JPEG, not a PNG, if you give them a PDF, it'll print out in the highest level of quality that that they can muster. So yeah, PDF prints out at high quality. And yeah, the page quality that they printed on was also very high too. So yeah, it came out really nice. JOM says, women do like these types of stories. Yeah, I bet. Let's see. Those PS1 titles felt like magic when they were in the demo phases. Not when you are constantly working towards your goal. We get to see the process and the speed bumps. What does the algorithm want? That's what JOM is saying. What does the algorithm want? Nobody knows. Basically, the algorithm at this point is deciding what you are, like what type of poster you are, and then showing your work to the type of people who would be interested in it. So it's not what the algorithm wants, is what do you want to create, and what does an audience look for online. And so a video like the one I just made about like, oh, beware of manga contest, people are like, what? Beware of manga contest? Well, what's going on there? And the algorithm has fed that to them, so they'll watch that video and see like, oh, what's going on with that. So I wasn't playing to this nebulous algorithm. I was just playing to something I would have wanted to see when I was a younger creator. Like, why should I be aware of manga contests? What's going on with that? And then let me see. JOM says, what you're doing will work. Consistency and keep the grind. Oh yeah, 100%. Master Panda says, if I ever start a YouTube channel, you should. I'm doing it like they did on the old Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. They'd record a ton of content in a single day and then just distribute the content out daily. Yeah, that's what they call batch uploading or batch recording, and that way you can get a lot of stuff out that way without having to like stress about it. Because most of the time I'll stress about it the night before, and then I'll post it and I'll be like, oh man, I could have done a better quality version of that if I gave myself more time. Let me see. G4 says, are you the sole creator of Saintly or someone else does the writing? If so, have you done an interview with the creative team? No, I'm the sole creator of it. So I write and draw the whole story. I'm just working with my editor. So like I work with an editor and I work with my mastermind like writing group, and I show them what I've written and drawn, and they'll be like, okay, you should adjust this or make this different or do this differently, and then I'll make those adjustments, and so I get edited in that way. But I don't have a writer. I do all the work on making the book. So I do the lettering, the writing, the drawing, the artist, or the coloring, the everything that goes into the book is all my own hand. So eventually one day I'll get like a letter and a flatter to help me with the work. But other than that, I want to do most of the tasks that have to do with Saintly. And once I have enough work out there, I'll be able to get assistants that will be able to understand the vision that I'm going for and then help me with the work that I'm doing. Like I want to set up a studio one day, like actually set up a studio. But yeah, let me see. Oh, hey, it's Yoshi Hiroda. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming by. So what's good, Ken? Just stopping by and say hi and drop a like. Oh, appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming by, dude. Let me see. Yeah, y'all should check out his comic In Another World with My Gun. Like, I don't think you've never seen an isekai comic like that. It's a whole different experience, and it's really funny too. So definitely go check that out. Dale A said, from reading the preview, the emotional core of Saintly seems to be sisterhood, not romance, but not brotherhood, not family, but sisterhood. That is going to resonate with women. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, these two are like really good friends, and Vivi is like, she's able to see demons, and that has like caused some issues for her in the past, and she's trying to keep that secret from her friend and her friend Chelsea, and yeah, it's throughout the course of the story, it's like the secret, everything, the lengths that Vivi is going through to keep the secret, like she's afraid if she tells Chelsea, like they'll break apart. But the lengths that Vivi is going through to try to keep that secret away from her friend is ironically breaking them apart. Like Chelsea's starting to, think like, what is she hiding from me? Like, why can't she tell me what's going on or what's the deal? But Vivi's like adopted family actually abandoned her in the past when they figured out that she could see demons or she could see like ghosts and whatnot. And there was a whole host of other issues that came with that. And then Vivi just developed that fear of telling people or telling regular people about her ability. So she never told Chelsea, and they've been friends for years now. And in this story, it might come out. So we'll see what happens when Chelsea finds out that secret. Lucar Knights Entertainment. I don't think I've seen your name before, but appreciate you coming out to the show, dude. Or lady, I don't know. Odd compliment, but I love the way you draw lips, how expressive you make them. What were your influences? What's your secret to them? Oh, there's no secret to them. I basically get it from Empowered. Let me see. Empowered and Love and Rockets. So that's where I learned how to draw like like super expressive faces and whatnot, especially the lips that I draw on my characters. Like he draws like really full lips. I don't personally like super full lips like that, but the way he draws them when he stretches it out, when he stretches out their lips is really fun. Like I just like the look of it. Let me see if there's a good example. I like the look of it when he stretches out the lips. And it just has this like really expressive cartoony feel to it. Let me see. Has a really expressive cartoony feel to it that I like to emulate in my own stuff. So, oh, whoops. So like you got a good example here and a good example there. So I just really like the way he draws lips in this book. And then Love and Rockets is like more of a realistic example of how to draw lips and facial expressions. And then where is that thing? Oh, and then Nana is where I figured out like eyes and stuff like that. Like he can or she can draw like Yazawa Eye can draw really expressive eyes, expressions, all that kind of stuff. Like that's where I learned like if you really want to draw like a kind of an emotional kind of shoujo manga, focus on the eyes and when characters are like looking at each other or touching each other or you know any kind of contact is really something that that women focus on, like especially like physical contact. I just happen to respond to the same thing too in media, so I can get a sense of what women respond to when they're reading comics like this. So if I read something like this, I instantly know like women are going to respond to like this stuff right here like catnip. They'll be like, oh, it's like crack. It's like crack to them. And I just know because it's like crack to me. Like when I read this, I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. This is amazing. But it's amazing in a way that it's it makes me logically understand their emotions, where it's not just emotion for emotion's sake, but it's like a logical flow of, oh, I know why you did this, and I know why you felt like you had to do this, because you would feel this way if this happened. So Nana actually made actual sense to me when I was reading it. Joseph Lopez says, I get my references mainly from Utena. Oh, yeah. Utena is really good. Revolutionary Girl Utena. Although over the years, I've taken a couple concepts from virtually every anime I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. That's great to do. And Revolutionary Girl Utena is one of my big influences for this as well. I think I'll put that in my new email that I'm going to post out soon. But yeah, Revolutionary Girl Utena is a very strong work. Okay, Master Panda says, yeah, I don't think a lot of people appreciate just how phenomenal Adam Warren's work. Adam Warren's. There we go. People appreciate just how phenomenal Adam Warren's work is. That dude had Kid Me captivated in the 90s. Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially with this stuff on Dirty Pair. Which I didn't watch much of the show, and I didn't even read the comic, but he just had really strong work. Joseph Lopez says, you know, all 39 episodes for Utena dubbed and subbed are on YouTube, right? That's where I watched it. I watched it subbed, but yeah, I watched all episodes of that like long time ago, back in high school, I think. I think I watched Utena and then I watched Hajime no Ippo just for the balance. But yeah. Um yeah, Adam Warren. Adam Warren also went to like the Kubert school. So what was it? He went to the Kubert school as well. And from all accounts, or maybe from his account, he was always drawing, like always drawing. And that I mean, that's basically how you get to manga level skill. Like he has manga level skills. And the way you get to that is just by always drawing, like getting your pencil mileage up, which is what they call it. It's just like you're drawing so much that you just know how to draw, or like you know how to draw the things that you want to draw, and it's not a problem for you to get your work in the looking correct, looking how you want it to. Okay, so I'm gonna put this. Just doing a little mock-up of the background here. Venture Lord, hey, what's up, man? I was reading OG Alita manga, and the character Shumira from the Motorball arc reminds me of your characters, the way she emotes and the way she has a bit of a wide smile. Dude, I remember I didn't read the only books of Battle Angel that I read were number 1 and 2, Tears of an Angel. But then the third arc, like the Battle Ball arc, I know the character you're talking about, but I just didn't read the Battle Ball arc. I didn't go beyond the first 2 books. The first 2 books were so perfect to me. I was just like, dang, that's all I need to read. I don't need to read further. But I know the character you're talking about. She does have that vibe that you're talking about, and a lot of Alita has that art style that I like to reference from, because it's just really, really good. John says Utena will have a movie in theaters, or it already did. I don't know, because I know it had a movie, but I don't know if it was in theaters when it came out, or like it definitely, I don't think it was in America when it came out, but it had a movie, like something Innocence of an Angel or something. I don't know what it was called, but yeah, it was the one where she like turned into a car and they rode off into the sunset or something. I forget what that was all about, but it was weird. But the end of the first series, in fact, there was I was scrolling through Tumblr, and that's how I found out about Utena, where I saw this one Utena gif on Tumblr where she's punching the ground and pushing herself up, like struggling. And I was just like, I gotta watch this entire series now just to see what that was about, because I'd never seen a character in anime struggling like that before, and especially a girl character. I was just like, whoa, like I've never seen a character doing that, or doing that action, especially a girl character doing that action like that before in a story. So I was just like, I gotta watch this in series and see if it's good. And first episode turned out to be really good, so I was just like, all right, I'll watch the second episode. That also turned out to be really good, so I was just like, okay, I feel like I can be safely on this ride and it won't, like, you know, screw me over before the ending. And then all of it turned out to be good, so I was just like, yeah, this is a good show all the way. Let's see. Utena movie was in 1999 and it's also on YouTube. Oh, nice. Adolescence of Utena. Oh, okay, yeah. Release June 2026. Is there going to be a new release? That's going to be crazy. I wonder if it will be live action. That will be interesting. Because I don't know if it'll work in live action. Like the stuff that they did in that show is like weird. It's very symbolic. very symbolic, especially the way Utena holds Anthe. Yeah, the way her name was weird, but the way she holds that girl with the glasses, the black girl with the glasses, and then like the sword like comes out of her chest, and then she pulls it out, and I was just like, man, that's cool. Like that just looks cool, and then the sound effects that it makes, I was just like, what is this? This is different. And then there was a whole theme song every time she was walking up the stairs to go fight one of the student council members or whoever had some beef with her that week. And yeah, it was just it had its own vibe, its own world, like something that isn't, you can't just copy it, you know what I mean? Like you can't just make that up, you know what I mean? So Uchino was a different beast entirely. G4 says, what's your top 3 artists you discovered in 2026 so far? Discovered in 2026? Man, that's a good question. Like in 2026, I don't know who, because I always check back on artists that I've discovered in previous years, but in 2026, it would have to be some people on Instagram. But is there anyone? I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head that made such a huge impression on me that I was just like, dang. Because all the people that I know of are from previous years. I'm always like really on top of looking at artists online. So I just know a lot of artists or have seen a lot of great artists online, and I'm usually pretty aware of them. But I would say for 2026, even though I've seen them before, there's this guy named Kari Cosimo. So I'll do this as like the last thing for the stream, and then I'll end it. So I'll show you like 3 different artists that I've seen, and then we'll end it. So let me pull up this one guy, Kari Cosimo. Oh, and DD Mark recently came back too, so that's pretty cool. Let me see. Joseph says, my friend binge watched Utena with me and her, and he said her calves must be God status, on God status, walking them damn stairs. Yeah, there was 100 stairs. Like, there's not 100 stairs, but it was a hell, like just 1,000 stairs going up to that place, like just in a circle. And it's just like, dang. And it looked like the stairs were moving, but they were just animating them really well. Okay, so you guys can see what I'm looking at. This is Kari Cosimo, and I've seen his work for many years now. This is the latest thing he posted, but he just has a really strong manga level art style, and I'm pretty sure he might be French, but he's just got it down. He's got the stuff. So he's got a really strong art style. So I've been checking back on his account every once in a while just to see like, oh, what's the next thing you post? I want to see more. Then I'll show you guys one of my favorites that I come back to every once in a while, because I always wonder like, how the heck are they drawing what they're drawing? It's always so like interesting the way they draw. G4 says Kari Cosimo's art seems inspired by Kei Urana. This was actually, I saw his stuff a lot more before Kei Urana blew up to the level that she's at right now. But I mean, like that's definitely in there. You can tell that influence is definitely in there for sure. Let me see. Let me X that. Where is the second artist? Pull it up. One day I'll be like Joe Rogan and I'll have like a Jamie to pull up all my references for me. But my computer's going slow right now. I want to pull up the artist I was looking at. Let me see. Her name is Anatola Howard. I'm trying to see if it'll pull up. Let me read. I just found out about Kari Andrews from that recent Spider-Man versus Wolverine series. That dude's artwork is freaking cool. Oh yeah, he's been around for a long time. And his art is dope. Let me see. Man, my computer's just going so slow. While we wait for that, let me make sure. Okay. Has anybody seen Koro Sensei? I just finished season 1 the other day and I love it. Oh yeah, I read that a long time ago, like back in the day, like when it was still coming out in Shonen Jump. You're talking about Assassination Classroom, right? With the yellow octopus squid guy. But I never finished it. That was the only thing. I never finished it. I haven't finished a lot of manga, but when I read it, it was really solid stuff. And now that creator is doing the Elusive Samurai. So, and I think the Elusive Samurai is done now. So even that is just, it's just done and it's on to the next. Trying to figure out. Okay, there we go. That should be it. Hey, G4 says, hopefully you get a better PC. You gave me $2 Canadian, dude. I'm gonna put that toward my new PC fund, man. Appreciate it, dude. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this thing is 7 years old. I had it before I went to the Kubert school, and I graduated in 2021, and that was like 5 years ago. And 3 years before that, so it's been eight years having the same PC. And the way they make them is so that they become shittier over time, just on automatic. Like, they automatically just get worse over time, so you have to replace it no matter what. And this I'm hoping to replace very soon, but I can't afford to right now, so I just have to like put up with it at the moment and eventually get something better. But this is Anatola Howard. She's one of those artists that's just really good. And the way they draw, the way they create is really high level, to the point where I'm just wondering, like, how the heck are you doing this? Like, how the heck are you able to do this? They have a really high level cartooning skill, but also high level like artistic ability. And this is on paper. Like, none of this is digital. It's all traditional. And I'm just like, beautiful, wonderful. This is awesome. And she's just able to make, like, look at that. You can see that it's just done on paper, and it's like, wow. I would have freaked out at this point. At this point in the drawing, I would have freaked out, like, oh man, it's gonna turn out shit. I don't think I can keep doing this. I gotta stop. I gotta bail. But no, once you get past this point of it being like kind of shit, you just get more confident in the final result. And I've done a lot of paintings in the past, and it's just really cool to see how this piece turned out. And then the way she draws is so unique. This is all her stuff. Like, it can look very simple, but it can also be very detailed and very interesting and unique. And her faces the way she draws faces and facial expressions is very strong as well. So this is all her. Like, dang. Like, it feels like she's taking a page out of John Crick-Falusi in terms of style, at least in certain parts here and there. But it's just a really strong, interesting cartooning style that I love. But I found her a long time ago, so not in 2026. And then the last artist that comes to mind right now is one that you probably never heard of, but they're really cool. So I'm gonna show you that as well. Let me see what Venture Lord is saying. By the way, thanks for the Gurney blog stuff, Ken. That's gonna be a nice dig into and learn. Hard to believe that's all traditional art. Impressive. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, his stuff is a very, very high level art resource. It's really, really good. Okay, let me pull up. Oh, sick. They're still here. So I'm gonna see if they'll pull up. They better have some art on there. Let me show y'all what I'm looking at. So one of my favorite artists in the entire world is Suzuki Goro, and I haven't seen them post in like a long time at all, but they're able to make these like really cool backgrounds, but he's also slightly animating them, so it's partly in Blender, partly drawn and animated, and he does like these little looping animations. This is the kind of stuff I want to do one day. Like, this is so beautiful to me. Like, I can feel the music behind it. I can hear like the wind blowing through it, and it doesn't have to be this massive animation that he's doing. He's just doing a little looped thing that goes over and over, and that's what I want to do with like Saintly and Air Rider, and show like a proof of concept with my art style, and make these types of looped animations that show like what the deal is. Actually, I think I missed a comment that somebody posted about Air Rider. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing this. It says G4 said, are Air Rider and Saintly in a connected universe like Marvel's MCU? Not in the way that you would expect, but it's something that we'll see later on down the line. It's you'll see. But yeah, good question though. Maintenance, what's up, man? That looks part 3D animation. Yeah, I think it mostly is 3D animation, because you can do stuff that kind of looks 2D in Blender as well. But yeah, Suzuki Goro has some really cool art. I have a lot of his stuff saved on Pinterest as well. But yeah, I don't think he posts actively anymore, because this is the last post, and it was in 2022. But these animations are so cool. Like, he draws like anthropomorphic type characters, but he can draw humans as well. It's just he draws these like backgrounds, but they're not backgrounds. It's like a whole world. There's a whole world to live in with these with his art. It's like a whole world that he's crafted, and I'm just like, man, I want to just go there, see what this is about. So like, you got a human character, and then you have this anthropomorphic tiger there as well. But this feels like an anime you want to see, and he puts so much details in the background, like in the lanterns, in like, if you look at this effect on the in the background there, where it's a digital effect, where that's a digital effect you would see in modern day, and yet this place looks like a fantasy place. But then she's wearing a school uniform that looks like a modern day school uniform, and yet this is a whole fantasy world. So it's like, where are we, in what place in time? And yet this tiger is anthropomorphic, and he's just nodding off at the at the store and she's buying, I don't know, paper or something like that. Like it's a whole world that he's creating that's lived in, and you're just like, man, I want to know more about this place. I mean, it sucks that he like disappeared. I hope he's not like, you know, passed away or anything, but yeah. Yeah, and this is the last one I'll show, but it's just amazing the way it looks. Like she's just offering an apple to this guy, this wolf guy who's just sitting there. But if you look at the background, which isn't a background to me, it's a whole entire world. Like it feels like something you could just jump into, and there's gonna be a ground there. There's gonna be a story there. There's gonna be stuff going on in that world, like that you want to check out, that you want to see, and that's a level of art that I'm trying to reach to. I'm trying to get to that point where I can draw stuff like that. In fact, I had to write that down as a reminder to myself. Like, this is what I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to create story snippets like this, to where if I'm showing you this, like this piece, if I get enough time or get to the point where I can just sit down and do a little bit of animation, I would animate the characters and the water and learn a little bit of Blender. I would learn a little bit of Blender to be able to animate this to the extent to where you're like, oh, I can buy into this world a little bit. I can buy into this this art and feel that this is like a place to be or a place to live in. And that's just what I want to develop over time. So yeah, those are the artists. But G4 says has to go now. Nice stream. Appreciate you coming out, dude. It was great. You asked great questions, man. Juicy. What's up? Appreciate you coming out to the stream. We're actually about to end right now. But appreciate you coming up. JOM says yes, animate this. Yeah, I mean mostly the water would be animated, but that would be like something I would do one day in the future. Like that's a legitimate thing I would do, where I would animate these snippets in small little bits rather than trying to get a full pilot animation, because the story is, you know, the webcomic, but then the animations would be things that I would do to advertise for the webcomic or make the webcomic world feel like more inviting, more fun to be in there. And then let me see. JOM says that is an ending credit to an anime scene right there. Yeah, 100%. Yosef says I'm considering downloading Krita again for animation, but the layout threw me off the first time, so I don't know. I have animated GIFs of my characters on Giphy. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd like to see that too as well. Yeah, Krita, I remember, is created by this guy named David Reroy, and he makes this comic called Carrot and Pepper, or Pepper and Carrot. And I think he made Krita. So, it's just this like free software that you can use. But I personally never thought about it as a animation software. And even though you can animate with Clip Studio, I'm like, it's a little bit too complex for me to use it for animation. I use this other program called, what do you call it? Rough Animator. And that's how I would animate during school. I bought it for like $10 for my computer and for my, what's it called? For my iPad. And it just does what I need it to do. Like, it helps me animate and do things. And let me see if this will still play. Yeah, it'll still play. Nice. Yeah, I did this animation a long time ago for school, back in the Kubert school. And it was a Caleb City file that was playing over it. But yeah, one day I'll do like little animations for Saintly, just to give a little proof of concept of how I would approach animation and coloring and all that stuff. And that would be like the most full version of the experience that I could give somebody outside of doing a full on animated pilot. But yeah. Jump says like shortcut scenes. Yosef Lopez says, what program is that? It is, let me show you. It's called Rough Animator. Here's the app right on my screen. And here's what it looks like inside. It's called Rough Animator, and it's the most bare bones, basic, what you would need for animation. And you can do exactly what you need with it. You don't need to go overboard with it. Like you it's just basic. You can do anything you need with it, you know. So I did a really kind of shitty head animation a long time ago, but that was back when I was trying to be like a jack of all trades. Like, oh, I can animate, I can draw, I can make music, I can do this, I can do that. But yeah, that's a Rough Animator. And that's pretty much it for this stream. I have drawn a little bit and talked a lot, but I really appreciate you guys coming out. We hit like what 25 people at max on this stream, and this is not even a big channel to be having all that that many like people on the stream. So I really appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the show. I'm glad we were able to find the piece to get my iPad thing working on there again. So you guys asked some really great questions as well, and I appreciate all that. Keep them coming. But not for today. I'm gonna go eat and draw some more afterward. But yeah, thanks for coming. I got one more video coming out tomorrow, and then we got a whole new week of videos next week. But I'll see you next time, and have a good night.